Hello, I'm Critical Failure with Tiger Claw TV. Before we begin, I think it should be noted that this is what I consider the pilot video. I learned a lot making it, which means it has its fair share of botches. But hey, this is YouTube. I'm not out to be the best thing around, just something else to watch. So enjoy, and thanks for surfing in. Today, I want to take a closer look at the pinball games available for the NES. The NES has only 4 that I know of which are available. They are HAL Laboratories' Rollerball, Rare's Pinbot, Jaleco's Pinball Quest, and probably the most beloved of all the pinball games to fans was Nintendo's Pinball. Let's start with Rollerball from HAL Laboratories. HAL was also responsible for Kirby's Adventure and the Adventures of Lolo series. A little fun fact before we begin: the current president of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, was a former president of HAL. But more to the point, here we have probably my favorite of the bunch. The pinball machine rendered in Rollerball is comprised of 4 screens, which, in proportion, would be about as long as 2 standard pinball tables if it were a real table. The graphics on 2 of the 4 screens are based on various aspects of the New York City skyline. The topmost screen merely shows some clouds and a blimp. The second screen shows on the top of the Empire State Building, and the third screen shows the lower skyline and the Statue of Liberty. The lowest and final screen only shows a blue backdrop. Wikipedia speculates that this represents the ocean. All in all, it's a pretty intricate and fast-moving table. One thing that always annoyed me, though, was that once you lose your ball and move down a screen, it's nearly impossible to hit it back at the top again. Rollerball also features a 2-player mode in which you play side by side with an opponent. The twist is, your score counts down instead of up. The idea is that the first player who reaches 0 points loses. So wait, I'm a little confused. You don't want to hit the targets? Well, not exactly. Certain targets take your points and certain targets take the points of your opponent. It's kind of up to you to figure out what's what, because I could never really get anybody to play this with me for more than 2 or 3 minutes. In the Japanese version, the left player's animal is an elephant, and the right player's is a giraffe. In the English version, the giraffe was changed to a donkey. Wikipedia speculates that this is in reference to the Republican and Democratic U.S. political parties. Personally, I don't think anyone young enough to enjoy this mode of play would catch such a political reference. Okay, next up is Pinbot. Well, I never liked Pinbot enough to play it for more than a little while. However, I do know that this is a port to the NES from an actual pinball machine. I also know that in the Tom Hanks movie Big, a pinbot machine can be found somewhere. You have to give Rare credit. It's a great idea to take an actual pinball table and bring it home in the form of a Nintendo game, but I don't understand why they felt the need to have the bottom section of the table, where the flippers are, follow you up and down the screen. Okay, now we're going to take a look at Pinball Quest from Jaleco, a game that claims to be the world's first pinball fantasy. And all I've got to say is brace yourself. Okay, at first glance, this game is going to seem like the game that will give you the most bang for the buck. As you can see, there's 3 tables plus an RPG mode. But when you actually play the tables, yeah, the animation is nice. Okay, we got a nice fast-moving ball, but there's not much content here. One thing this game has that its predecessors don't have is the ability to shake the table. If you press, I think it's either the left key or the up key, you can shake the table. You can't do that in Rollerball, you can't do that in Pinbot, and I don't think you can do that in Nintendo's Pinball either. One thing that's funny about that is there's no tilt, so you can just shake away. Let's take a look at the next available table, Viva Golf. Here we're treated to a little bit more animation, but again, just more of the same. A nice double screen table with a few bumpers and a few ramps. That's pretty much it. The final regular table is called Circus. This is my favorite of the 3 regular ones, because although it's more of the same quasi-bland pinball design, here you're treated to a slot machine. Those 3 games were just the icing on the cake. If you bought this game, it was probably because of the RPG mode. After all, it did claim to be the first Pinball Fantasy. So let's take a look. What? This is it? This is the Pinball Fantasy? Look at this, there's not even bumpers, we just have the trees. Okay, so I get that. We're in a graveyard, and I'm desecrating graves with my pinball, but there's no score! Look at this! Okay, so now we have this guy, and he floats around. I don't know how much of this I can take. You want to try again? Yes, no. Well, this is it. This is the Pinball Fantasy. Now let's take a look at Nintendo's Pinball. Now this game is still available today on the Virtual Console on the Wii. It's also available as a bonus feature for a GameCube game, although, honestly, I can't remember which game at the moment. Nintendo's Pinball was released in Japan in 1983 as one of the first Famicom games. In 1984 it was released in the arcades, and finally, in 1985, it was released for the NES. This game, above all else, provides us with the best ball physics on Nintendo. Let's face it, if you're playing a pinball video game, no matter what the platform, ball physics are paramount, right? Now Nintendo's given us a little control over the physics. We have a Game A mode and a Game B mode. Game A features a shallower table slope, giving us a lighter ball and slightly slower gameplay for novice players. Game B features a slightly steeper slope, making the gravity a little more fierce and the gameplay faster. This is for more advanced players and those of us who are seasoned at playing actual pinball tables. Now, as far as the layout of the table, it's a little more symmetrical than the other games we looked at. Playing this table, you can feel the layout works much better than all the tables in Pinball Quest combined. It's more pleasing to look at than Pinbot, and it's not quite as complicated as Rollerball. This is Nintendo Pinball perfection. There's one other thing that's really special about this game. That's right, Mario makes an appearance in a minigame. Here Mario tries to rescue his girlfriend from the early Donkey Kong games by wearing down this bridge thing she's on. This is done by using skill shots to roll over these number targets here. Only thing is, it's easier said than done. So let's recap. We have Rollerball, great layout, very complex table, sometimes frustratingly so, and with a quasi-worthless multiplayer mode. There's Pinbot, and, well, it's kinda dumb. Pinball Quest is a great idea, actually has a good setup, but leaves much to be desired, especially in their main attraction, the Pinball RPG. And finally, our winner, Nintendo's Pinball. Okay, believe it or not, there's a 5th Nintendo pinball game called Super Pinball, but it never made it to the States. I really couldn't find any info about this game, so as we close, enjoy this game footage. This has been Critical Failure with Tiger Claw TV. Till next time, keep having fun.